Everyone, welcome to Morethanmeetstheseguys. This podcast is a journey through Transformers from the beginning of the animated series. You look like you're going to say something.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, well, so
What?
hey,
Keep
but
talking. No, keep
two, but
talking.
we have a bonus from this week.
We do have a
have
bonus.
different
We do have a bonus this week.
perspectives.
So,
Together, we go episode by episode with the occasional extra to look at how the show holds up or if it's a trap of nostalgia. We'll be looking at all things involved in the episode, whether there were real world factors that crept in the writing or the episode was typical afternoon cartoon fodder. I'm Evan. I'm the lifelong fan that's familiar with all aspects of the franchise. Ed knows about it. I think he kind of likes it now, but he's coming around at this point. And Jay, who joining us for the Real Phonies podcast, is here. And he knows a bit more than Ed. I don't know as much if he knows as much as I do, but it's a good middle ground. Let's do this.
I think it is a middle ground. Yeah, I loved Transformers for my youth, and then there was a long lapse, and then I'm way back into it again.
The Skybound books are just killing it too.
They're so good, man. They're so much fun.
They are there, and it's like almost one complete, like almost like a full episode over like 12 books now, 11 books.
Right.
There's no time to breathe.
No, 100%. It's just nonstop actions and robots punching the hell out of each other.
Oh, ripping the spines out and just killing people, and
they have spines.
This
is a bit canonically now. They have spines. They have full skeletons.
There's a cover to one of just the cover of one of the issues that's Starscream tearing Ravage apart.
Oh,
and he's ripping out the tape as if it's guts. Hardcore.
That is pretty cool. I'm kind of mad about that though, because I like Starscream and I also like Ravage. But
you might have a problem with the book, but I'll tell you, man, Shockwave is freaking evil, man. He's great. He was so much, I guess, more evil than Megatron ever had been. So he's a villain.
He's way more in line with like the old Marvel Shockwave, who's
a
force of nature.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
And
I do have first of all, I would never cut you off during the intro. I always wait for my dumb stuff out.
And I was looking at you.
I drop my dumb stuff in here, but I do have a couple things to address though, because we have Jehu on the show here. Because I need to correct something from your show from like May, because
to be fair, I don't remember any shows in May, but I'll try my best.
It might have been April. I don't know. Anyway, so like we both acknowledge that you and I are like opposite sides of the same coin when it comes to professional wrestling right now.
100%.
And so I said a while back that I'm basically done with pro wrestling, and you're I'm on the downswing, and you're very much on the upswing of pro wrestling. But you said that on your show, and I think it was Joseph that said, "Oh, I bet he loves the Attitude Era," and you're like, "Oh yeah," and I need to correct that because I hate the Attitude Era.
Really?
That is the worst era of pro wrestling ever.
Okay,
straight up, I will take it to my grave.
I'll give you that all the boobs and farts like that sucked, but the top guys, the main event, Stone Cold, The Rock, Mick Foley.
That was cool. That was the only thing cool about that. That and Ken Shamrock were the only things cool about it because
Ken Shamrock was awesome.
Because here's the deal, I only care when WrestleMan A and WrestleMan B are doing the wrestling in the ring. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about promos. I don't care about storylines. I don't care about who hijacked the limo. I don't care about who stole the urn. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. What I care about, I want to watch men executing wrestling holds on other men is exactly what I want to see. That's all I want to see. And like,
go ahead.
And to illustrate that, and that's like I love just the technical wrestling. That's what I like. I like all kinds of wrestling, but I mean, I like high flying. I like lucha libre. I like Japanese strong style. I like Japanese King Road style. I like Southern style wrestling. I like garbage wrestling. I like death match. I like indie trash. I like every bit of it. But the in ring, like the bell to bell of the Attitude Era, garbage. Except for like the big match, the main event big matches were good, and that's about it. I'm gonna throw a bomb out there. WCW's in ring light years better.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think that particularly from about, I'd say like 95 to 98, WCW might have been the perfect wrestling show.
They
It was
were.
like the
Yeah,
three
absolutely,
ring circus.
absolutely.
You got a little of everything. You got the
Mm-hmm.
high flyers, you got the middle cards who were more like technical, and
Mm-hmm.
you got the storyline BS at the
Right.
end. It was everything you wanted from wrestling.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I love in-ring stuff, and I like every kind of wrestling too, but I need the storyline bullshit.
He's a soap opera guy, man.
Good. I need the limo to get stolen. Like, like I need, like, I don't know, right now, like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are feuding over a friendship bracelet. I love that. That has got me on the hook.
Man, okay, so this is what a nadir of wrestling interest I am right now. Yesterday, my favorite wrestler of all time wrestled the main event of a match in front of 60,000 people in England against another dude who has the same last name as me. I don't know if you guys know this, like, because you guys have like cool last names. I don't have a cool last name,
Right.
and nobody in sports has really ever had nobody famous has ever had my last name. And so there's a dude, the world champion in AEW, his last name is the same as mine. That's cool. I didn't. I was like, I don't. It's too much of a pain to watch this. I'm not going to watch this. I'm not going to watch my favorite wrestler of all time, Bryan Danielson, wrestle Swerve Strickland for the world title in Wembley Stadium.
Right.
I'm like, I just don't want to watch
Okay,
this.
first I gotta say Swerve Strickland. That's a great name.
Swerve Strickland is a great
That's
name.
an awesome name.
It is.
Second
It's
of
a
all,
fantastic name.
we have the cool last names, man. I share last name with Jeff Johns and Evan Johns and the H Bombs. That's it, man.
Evan Johns, the H Bombs were great. That was,
But
he
that's
did a
it.
record with Eugene Chadburn.
What are you talking
We're
about?
going way too
Strickland?
deep cut on 1980s punk rock here, but yeah, no, that's fine. Hurt. Jay, who's
I can't have false modesty on my last name. My last name rules.
I know.
I should have been a wrestler, is what I should have been. Yeah,
that's a wrestler name. So yeah, man. And yeah, and I just, but yeah, so I just couldn't care. I couldn't care less to watch this match. I hear it was amazing. I'll probably watch it at some point, but yeah, I'm just kind of.
I mean, I didn't watch it either, but I will 100% watch it at some point when it's not $50.
But yeah, that's the other thing is I don't have there was a string where I was getting all those AEW pay-per-views, and I was like, I'm spending entirely too much money on this, because every time I would do it, I'd be like, I don't want to spend money to watch wrestling by myself. So I'd invite a couple people over.
Right.
And that's like, hey, let's order pizza. And then I was like, man, I just spent like $100 to watch TV with my friends.
That is 100% true. You can't just buy a $50 pay-per-view and watch it by yourself. A pay-per-view on Peacock, you can totally watch by yourself.
Exactly.
But if you get a payper-view, you've got to get people over.
Yeah, and I'm not that guy that's like, hey man, I need you all to give me like $10 or $20. I'm not going to be that guy, because I don't care. I mean, I make enough money to cover this, but it's just like, man, I just spent Warhammer money on
money you could have spent on little guys you could paint, man.
Right. But also, like, one of those guys could have brought the pizza.
Right?
I think well, for a long time we were watching, me and a couple of friends of mine were watching the New Japan Pro Wrestling, like the Tokyo Dome show, the Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
And every year we would do this, one of us would make Japanese food with some kind of Japanese food. So like one year we did like okonomiyaki, and like one year we did like yakitori and all this. It was a lot of fun. And we would drink tall Sapporos, and those things will punch you straight in the gut. Yeah. And so by the end of the show, those things are like 4 hours long. We're like, I'm kind of drunk. This is
Right.
It's a good thing though, man. So
and also, anyways, who has 4 hours to do anything in their life?
The older I get, it's 15 minutes, man. Like
my favorite thing on earth, I want to do for like 45 minutes at most.
Yeah. That sounds about right. I mean, I tell you what else was too long for me too was this episode of the Transformers.
Oh, it was not. Don't even.
You already turned after your upswing on last week,
man. You are so fickle.
I'm exaggerating here, but the thing is the hardest part of me doing this podcast is actually sitting down and watching the show, because like all week I'm like, oh man, I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll
I'm
watch
sorry,
it
it's such a
tomorrow.
chore for you, man.
It's a massive chore. It's because there's times where I'm like, I need to watch the episode of the show, or I also need to cut my grass. And there's times where I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the grass.
Man, I think you need to pay for some service that has it.
It's the best right now.
Man, look,
Because I heard you talking on previous weeks about how the YouTube ads have gotten so much worse, and they have gotten so much worse.
It's awful.
Like, used to the bane of my existence was a YouTube ad that give you a 5-second countdown and then was over to 4 seconds.
Mhm.
I was like, let's find that guy and kill him.
Oh yeah.
Like, don't give me that hope that I'm going to get to push the button. But now they'll just say, oh, this is going to be 45 minutes. And I'm like, 45 seconds. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, well, I'm just done with this then. I'm not going to watch this thing.
Yeah, I was using an ad blocker for a while, and I guess they somehow got around. They got some wise to ad block plus, and it doesn't really
machines
work.
are learning.
So we're gonna turn this entire episode into the Ed and Jehu Wrestling Hour, and
apparently so, man. But I want to bring it. See, I told you I got some information on this on all this going on right here. This episode. Okay. So originally, what, my buddy Boo, he got a lot of like in the weed stuff. Like originally, the Senecons are supposed to be Autobots, Autobot combiners, stuff like that. Man, and look, they look like they belong in like a Mad Max, style show. And I don't know how that was gonna be Autobots, but also this whole thing, like the combiners, and you'll see more as the season goes on. They were like this whole, Diachrone. They were this whole Diaclone thing they were gonna do, but Diaclone like got eclipsed by how popular Transformers was gonna be or was becoming. It was basically like Diaclone free combination. So the whole gimmick was you had this little guy, you could take all these other guys and like replace the parts, which comes into something later. I won't go into that right now. But yeah, man, this was like, he was this cool, like techno looking, like trailer truck transport thing.
Which guy are you talking about?
Motormaster.
Motormaster.
Yeah, the purple black. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they had this whole cool thing built in, and they're like, man, Transformers are really popular. Let's just go and kill this stuff and put on Transformers, which is why they kind of trickle through season 2. So yeah, it was like this whole thing. There's a lot more information with this, but I'm not going to bog down the beginning because it goes into stuff later. Just it was a whole thing, and like they didn't know what the hell to do with this. So here we are.
Yeah, what wasn't the gimmick in Japan that anyone from the other combiners could combine from the main combiner with one from the other one?
It was this thing, and it kind of goes into what I'm talking about. I was going to talk about later on. It was like a Scramble City. It was a
Scramble City, right?
Yeah, you know about that. So it was this whole thing where they tried to, because Japan got the Transformers '86 maybe a little late, so they tried to do this little stopgap thing in the middle, and they had all the combiners. They would be fighting, and like one would shoot off an arm, the other one would shoot off a leg, and they changed combiners, and they like screw up the combiner. It was this whole like, I'm short circuiting you, and it was this cool little gimmick thing that never really panned out.
Why would that not pan out? That's amazing.
It's funny. It's great.
You know what's sad is I had multiple ones of these.
Oh yeah.
I never once tried that. What a sad, unimaginative kid I was.
Yeah, well, man. But the the thing is, they had the animated one, like the Scramble City, and they had Scramble City 2, which was like all stop motion animation of the toys and stuff, which is fantastic. You ever watch the Japanese toy commercials? They're all stop motion. They like transform and fly with their wings out and stuff. They're cool. This is just a really cool stuff. We almost got that. But Transformers got too popular, and here we are. But yeah, so we last left off where the Senecons were pulling an old I don't know, it's very like it feels like an 80s primetime show, like the Autobots are turning evil, dun dun dun, to be continued.
Right.
Yeah. So the I guess army, I don't know, some guys in green uniforms are like, the Autobots are taking the fuel. So here we are. And during that whole break, the Aerialbots have been created from like bulbous, curvy looking ship things, and suddenly they look like Earth jets and
Earth jet fighter. Every one of them is like an Earth jet fighter. Well, as the resident airplane nerd, I was going to go through and figure out which one each guy was, but I ran out of time. Except for Silverbolt, he's like a Concorde.
Yeah, he's Concorde. Right. There's an F-15 in there. There's a
A4 Skyhawk in there. I'm pretty sure. I think there's a Harrier. I think. But the Army has a lot of bases in the middle of like these like blasted deserts.
Dude,
though.
this one is like apparently real close to Tacoma, Seattle.
Yeah, which we find out later on while
Well-
they're looking at while the map is displaying a different part of the country. Which
I mean, Transformers give you the idea that everybody in the world is either in the job of construction, military, or science. You have a hard hat, a green uniform, or a lab coat.
there was a lot of hard hats last episode, man. It was like people like bank robbers, like their job even had hard hats.
I wanted to say, because I wasn't here for last week, but I watched last week's so I would be ready for this one. And man, the sequence where Rumble steals all the cars,
That's my favorite part.
best thing of the whole series. When he takes that guy out of the car and just throws him, I mean, that guy's definitely dead.
Oh yeah,
totally. Cars zooming around, he looks
like
so
he's
dead.
He
But
looks
yeah,
like
that
he
was
fun
like,
sitting in a
notes on
go-kart.
that. It's great.
Yeah.
But one thing I in watching that episode, I was thinking is like, why did Optimus Prime bring the IT crowd with him? Like, it's all the like smart guys. It's Wheeljack, it's Ratchet, it's Hoist. I mean, even Blaster really has a tech job.
Yeah, he's cool.
I was
though,
like,
man.
why did he bring all those guys? But it actually made sense in this one. There was forethought. They were there to build the Aerialbots.
Yeah. And okay, so yeah, they get in there. They're trying to give life to the Aerialbots. And like, whoa, we got to go out here and fight again and get another key and come back in. It's like, no. I'm gonna become one with Vector Sigma. Check this out. And he's like, I'm gonna give up my one life. And we just watched the Wrath of Khan. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one.
Right.
So yeah, I was like, oh, this is a Spock moment. He's gonna do it. And yeah, and he's like says, I'm gonna give my life so these all can have personalities. And the first time they come out, Slingshot's a jerk. He is the worst person. Like, dude, this guy gave up his life for you.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong here, though. Like, Alpha Trion says that he basically created Optimus Prime.
Right.
Have they said that before?
Yeah, okay, two
Because
more
that is
episodes, you'll see what he's talking about.
I think they say it later.
That's a massive revelation.
Yeah.
That, like, he's like, no, Luke, I am your father. That's the whole premise of Star Wars. And here it is, right here, the Transformers version. And it's like, oh, I created them like I created you. Okay, cool, go ahead.
You guys are obviously more high-minded than me, because when I was watching this scene, I thought for a second that Alpha Trion was going to turn into Andrew Dice Clay. like Optimus asks him, "Where's your key?" And he basically says something like, "I got your key right here, yo." like that killed me.
That would have been fantastic.
Oh man.
No, actually, there's I think it's like episode 43 coming up here. It's called War Dawn, and it'll explain all that. I don't know why they brought this revelation in now, because they're building continuity. Like, oh, what's going to happen next? We're going to find out.
I feel like there maybe should have been like at least one more
Hey man,
line of dialogue there.
this is what we call a carrot, and you're going to go after it, Rabbit. You're going to go after the carrot.
I guess I am.
Yeah, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Because you agree to
There's
do
a
this with me. You're going to find out.
While they're doing this, though, there's a weird little cut to like Shockwave just standing over there in a corner.
Like,
Does
just
no
be a
one-
creep.
There's no security.
He's just creeping. Exactly.
What?
It's like that's it.
What's
That's the
going on,
last
guys? You think they would put a guard like, hey, Ironhide, make sure no one spies on us. This is like enemy territory, because we're just going to hang out in here in the most important part of the planet right now. Just make sure no one checks up on us.
He was just
Ironhide
standing.
can't build nothing. Have him on watch.
Yeah. Oh, Prime, I'll beat him up. That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But no, yeah, he's over there creeping. He's like sitting with a notepad writing all down. Like, yeah, what else are they doing? What else? Okay, cool. All the notes. He took all the notes on the whole entire conversation. And so the Aerialbots do what the Senecons did. They're like, hey, I'm Slingshot, or I'm Silverbolt. And Optimus Prime's fat head is in the middle of the screen.
Okay.
I was 100% going to bring this up.
Okay, this is the single worst framed shot in all of in the entire Transformers series. This is like some Ed Wood level of composition here. Like, So yeah, he welcomes the Aerialbots, but it's a standard over the shoulder like dialogue shot, and then the camera pans to the back of his head while these dudes are just introducing themselves. Hey, my name is Slingshot, or who are
Yeah,
I forget
I'm
all the
Mary,
names.
I mean, we've been doing this for like 60 episodes. That guy doesn't know where the camera is at this point. Come on.
Prime
This
remark.
was when the last guy introduced himself, he was still standing behind the fourth guy. And
He
like
was.
this is like
This is
very
bad
much
blocking.
not Sergio Leone shot here. This is possibly one of the worst shots I've ever seen in cartoons ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had actually animate this, which kills me. They animated his big head in the middle of the screen over a Fireflight. He's like, I guess I'm Fireflight.
Okay.
You know, like, oh, okay, guy's kind of red. You can see also all you can see because Optimus Prime's big head is in the middle of the screen the entire time.
I mean,
And
say
you
80% of the screen.
Yeah, you barely see Skydive, and then like Slingshot you see over his right shoulder. I mean, make Optimus Prime the camera. Let's try some basic filmmaking for a second.
Yeah,
Right.
This was not it, man.
I mean, come on, U-Ball makes a better movie than this. But anyways, yeah. So they'll get their thing, and then they go and find Omega Supreme. Omega Supreme's just hanging out.
Right.
It's like, I hope he hasn't been taken out by Shockwave. No, Shockwave's been in there taking notes the entire time.
Also, this version of Shockwave was never going to take out Omega Supreme.
No,
He's basically clerical at this point.
he is.
He's so cool, but he doesn't do anything. Like
Right.
he's like the only thing he's done so far in this entire thing is like he turns on the space bridge and he sat for 4 million years. That's all he's done.
Right.
Or you turn into a gun better than Megatron.
Right.
Your gun form rules over Megatron.
And
you
that's
have a
when
gun
this.
hand.
Yeah, well, we're doing the Marvel UK stuff, which is at this point it's like taking the American comic and splitting into 2 issues. So like in the second part of the issue, there's this really cool issue that has Transformers are all dead with Shockwave on the cover. Well,
that's the cover.
Best comic book cover ever, maybe.
It's fantastic. But yeah, you have him flying as a space gun, blowing up GB BlackRock's oil tanker, and paralyzing Josie Beller, who becomes Circuit Breaker.
Circuit Breaker, the costume that launched 1 million puberties.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think I'm familiar with who this is.
She's actually.
You should really look. I think she's on the cover of either issue 8 or 9. You should really look it up. It's not a fair thing to do to young boys.
She's in Secret Wars, I think, isn't she? She hangs out in the Beyonder for a second.
She first appears in Secret Wars so they could keep copyright on.
Yeah, she's like, I like to smash robots. All right, cool. Well, that's your job then.
Right.
So yeah, he looks so cool. He is so imposing, and he hangs Megatron on a wall. Where he's like, let me show you how it's done. This guy here, he's like, oh, okay, well, Megatron finally talked to me after 4 million years. I guess I'll do what he wants. He was lonely.
Right.
So yeah, he's not doing anything. But yeah, Mega Supreme's just hanging out on the surface, doing nothing. He's like looking in there, see if they're ready to go yet. And yeah, they come bustling out there saying like, "Oh, Mega Supreme, let's go, hurry, come on!" And fly back. But here's like, they show this little like notch on him, like something's like messed up on the side of him,
Right.
and just nothing's paid attention to that at all.
No explanation given whatsoever.
I mean, he could have tripped and done that. I don't know, man.
Right.
He flies
Like I feel like you could have just shown somebody like creeping in the corner to be like, oh, that's the guy who did that thing. Now I know. Now I don't.
Well, man, they could have had like
wonder about that for the rest of my life.
They could have had like a Cobra trooper, like pack a Brahm on the side of it, and fly off. Something
Right.
that would have been so much cooler than like I got a scratch.
There's this really funny scene where like the Aerialbots are flying off, and all those Sentinels that they were fighting are like shaking their fists at the sky. This was really good.
Wait, what are they called again? The female Zentrades?
The female Zentrades. What?
No,
I'm not going through this again. Look.
Okay.
Look, if you want to hear me do the proper Zentradi pronunciation, you all go back and listen to the last episode. Give us get our numbers up a little bit here.
Don't say I didn't try to get you to say it. So
it's the Quaidlin Row.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You couldn't leave that alone, could you?
No, I couldn't. No,
that is funny because you for a second was like, I'm a man. I'm not going to do this again. And then you're like, nope, I got to do this.
No, I'm going to do it again.
I can't.
I may or may not have just ordered a model kit of the Quaidlin Row here recently.
I don't believe that for a second. Not at all.
Yeah. So I looked up Circuit Breaker though, and she like, okay, I see your point, A, but B, also she kind of reminds me of Scalp Hunter from the Marauders in the X-Men.
I mean, I can totally see that. Yes,
like metal all over, and I'm just like, it just looks like one of those like Mark Silvestri sketchy characters, which is fine. I like Mark Silvestri art, but
which one? Because she changes her costume to be less scandalous later.
Oh, I think I was looking at. I just did like a Google image search. It's fine.
Specifically, look up issue 9. I think is the one she's on the cover.
Yeah, the cover.
Oh yeah.
Is she over there with like goofy looking Starscream in the cover?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the art in the American book was a real suspect at this point. Like, depends on who they got the artist of the week.
I mean, it was 100%. They just plugged in whatever Marvel House style guy was free that month.
Herb Trimpe, probably usually.
Herb Trimpe, Don Perlin.
Who was that guy that used to do ROM? That
Herb Trimpe did.
Yeah, I think it was Herb Trimpe. Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, tell me wrong. I'm not going to talk crap on Herb Trimpe. Herb Trimpe Hulk is the best.
God,
no, it isn't.
Kettner's favorite.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. So yeah. So anyway, the Autobots get back to Earth, and Omega Supremes blows up.
It's like they're only hanging
out.
No
explanation. It's like he has indigestion or something.
Like Optimus Prime's like, your home awaits you. Like they're like looking like, oh, what a crappy place to be, and all of a sudden, get off now.
He blows up. It's like he's my old '79 Datsun. He couldn't take that drive. So.
Yeah, but during this time, like, Shockwave calls Megatron, I found out things, and Megatron's pissed because he's like, I'm the only one who can make new Transformers. No, you're not allowed. So yeah, he finds out the key has a secret power, but they don't know what it is.
So some kind of secret power. So, but
which comes up again, weirdly enough, in like a later incarnation of Transformers Beast Machines, and it was really badly done. Anyways, like the entire show. So moving on to this though, the Autobots just drive to the airfield where the super secret mega fuel stuff was being like stored.
Yeah, and all the Aerialbots and Blaster rode in Optimus Prime's trailer. All the 4 jet fighters and a Concorde rode in the back of a. And I know I said I'm going to stop with like I know I said 30 episodes ago I'm going to stop talking about the scale thing, but I can't not touch on that. So
we're
why don't they just fly? Why don't they just fly?
One of the thoughts I had while watching these is like, this is driving Ed nuts.
Oh yeah,
because there's so much scale issues in this.
Well, the other thing too is that, like, they had when they have Silverbolt, it's like he's a massive like jetliner, and I was like, oh, he'll be the new space taxi now. He'll be the new, they're like riding on him like he's like a fair ride,
like they're Slim Pickens. They're just riding.
It happens.
It's kind of the same way too.
Like it happens. There's a lot of Dr.
Oh
Strange.
my god. It could have been like, hey, we're going to be the full size of a jetliner. You can just probably like transform and be inside the cockpit. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to actually really goofy looking small jets with big robots. No, actually, another thing about this, I cannot wait, dude. I cannot wait so much. There's a season 3 episode called Carnage in C Minor. You talk about scale. I can't wait.
Definitely invite me back for that one. That's the worst episode of the series.
Oh god, and I actually
so bad.
We talked to the writer of that episode, and I was trying to be like, man, this is actually not bad. It's just really badly animated. He's like, I'm glad you think so. He did not like it either. I was trying to be charitable. Was that Buzz?
I've always thought
it was Buzz.
Probably started off with a cool premise.
Yeah,
and just by the time he made it through the process, it was nothing.
We can save all that for that episode later on, but I cannot wait to see the animation. ACOM, who later on went to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a lot of other great shows. Early on, they were not really that great. But anyways.
So here's a fun line happens here with when the Autobots show up, all these soldiers guarding this base in the middle of the desert are like, hey, those are the Autobots that attacked us a few hours ago. Bro, they've been to space and back.
Hey, look, they all look alike to him.
Oh, there's just a few hours ago, and there's dudes like patching them. You see the guys like building like a wooden fence over where like the gate was like busted up or whatever. Like a few hours ago, bro, they went to Cybertron. And
did
back.
You notice the G.I. Joe armadillo?
What's that?
There's a little G.I. Joe armadillo, that little small tank that has the 4 turrets. It's
Oh,
down
yeah?
there with the tanks. I'm like,
No, no,
oh,
I didn't see
yeah.
that. No.
Nice product placement.
Oh, I hate that I missed that. I like that. I like that one.
Yeah.
That was a good.
Anyways, it wasn't branded though. It was just like U.S. military. But anyway, yeah, man. Yeah, they're like they've gone to space. They've built jets. They've given them a life, and they come back. It's those guys again.
Yeah, oh, they were just here a few hours ago.
Optimus Prime should have been like, dude, we weren't even here. I got an alibi.
Right.
But
Right.
no, not at all. But yeah, man, they're like back off, and Slingshot's like, we're supposed to be like helping these guys. They hate us, which is not wrong.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. This is where kind of my breakdown with the episode happened, because there was a whole lot of like Slingshot not wanting to be with the Autobots, and it was like, okay, that's fine. But also here, we're about to get a battle here, but during the battle, they decided to take Silverbolt and make him the non-confident guy. They gave him the Spider-Man thing where he's like, I don't want to be, I can't be the hero. They give him the confidence thing, and I'm like, there's already way too much going on in this episode. I don't really need that.
Yeah.
And besides, that only works with Spider-Man anyway.
It's
Anybody
funny
else
that you say Spider-Man, because my thought was this was such a Stan Lee-esque move.
Yeah.
This was Stan Lee walking into the bullpen and saying, hey, let's have a hero who can fly, but he's afraid of heights. Now you guys make that work, and walking out of the room, and then, Jack Kirby or Ditko one has to turn that into a character.
You're more charitable than I would have been. I would have said that it would have been Stan Lee coming in and just signing his name on a story that Jack Kirby wrote and drew.
Yeah,
as a noted Stan Lee hater. Yeah.
Well, honestly, this is one of those things that they did a good job of harkening back to the write-ups, the character personality write-ups that they created for like the tech specs. Silverbolt was famously afraid of heights. He's a Concorde, so they try to like put in here's their quirk. And unfortunately, the quirk of Slingshot is he's a to keep this G-rated, he's a jerk. And just like Grimlock,
he's the heel.
Yeah, he is the heel. But Grimlock and Slag and all of them at first were like, yeah, why should we help you guys out? And they had to learn their lesson, and like, oh, we're all part of the same team. We're better than you. We're part of the same team.
Yeah. So the Decepticons start to show up, and somebody screams "Starscream and the Jets," which is a good band name, and somebody should steal that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Blaster tells somebody to eat asphalt, and my 2024 brain was like, what is he about to say?
I'm thinking of American History X. Yeah, dude. There's the Stunticons show up, and they're coming at us at 300 miles per hour on the ground.
It's pretty fast for a car.
300 miles per hour is like that last season of Knight Rider, where he had like the wings that came out of the side. Like it's like that's not feasible.
No, and
that's funny. Go ahead, Evan.
Well, it's like this actually is a kind of trope that occurred to me also. Like when we were kids, we didn't understand how fast 300 miles per hour is. We're like, oh my god, that's so fast. So it was perfect for a kid brain.
Yeah, for some reason I hadn't thought about that season of Knight Rider, because that was the last season. I'm pretty sure
that was the last season. Yeah,
it was real silly, but like I remember seeing it a couple of times and being like, but like my dad, for some reason, my dad and I didn't talk a whole lot for many years, but at some point, and then during that time, he wrote me a letter. And the only thing I remember from that entire letter was hey, have you seen the new Knight Rider? That new kit sure is cool, isn't he? And that just brought back a really weird childhood memory of
I mean, it was a cool design. It looked cool, but it was silly.
It's as dads, my son is he's now 15, and I struggle to find like what is he into now? What do I talk to him about? Like you like, dude, like so what games you playing? He tells you some game he's playing. Like, I've never heard of that. You still play Skyrim? I don't know. You don't know how to talk to your teenager, because they're into things they don't tell you about anymore. So I kind of feel empathy for your dad, even though y'all didn't talk for a while. I'm like, yeah, how about that new Knight Rider? It's pretty cool, right? Dude,
well, he and I used to watch Knight Rider together.
Okay,
he was a fan because he liked it, because I liked the Dukes of Hazzard, and then but my dad, despite being from the South and rooted in the South, like loathes rednecks, and so just could not stand the Dukes of Hazzard. So when Knight Rider came out, it was like that was the classy version of the Dukes of Hazzard. So,
As people who've grown up in the South, I feel that. I understand it completely. So,
Yeah.
love my Southern friends, but come on, y'all.
speaking of cars, though, the Stunticons are better at being cars than the Autobots. These guys rule.
Dude, this fight was objectively great.
Oh yeah,
The
was
first
good,
fight
yeah.
was awesome.
man, these guys. I want a car with force fields and 0G abilities to be able to just go. I'm gonna fly now, and then like bounce off 3 rocks and a tree, and then like keep going.
He can fly in car mode.
Yeah,
Like, I'm complaining all the time about these jets that stay in jet or robot mode and fly as jet. This dude can fly in all the modes.
Yeah.
This dude's great, and he's not even a jet. This dude's great. This dude's like better than Trax. Like, where's Trax? Trax should be jobbing out.
actually,
in the sky
Drax
right
is in this. He gets beat up.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He should be either Luis, should be the Brooklyn Brawler and just losing. And,
Yeah.
But then on the opposite side of this, though, the Aerialbots, terrible at being jets. They do a couple of cool moves, real bad at being jets. Especially they focus on Silverbolt way too much. Oh man, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, man, come on.
Yeah, one thing I love about the Stunticons, and I kind of forgot this till I'm watching it again. I love the aesthetic of the Stunticons. Like Motormaster he's like a biker thug guy who he's like, I'll tell you what, Moppers. He has this like real heavy speech thing where he doesn't really speak clearly. He's like got a mouthful of marbles, but
Right.
he's also in like I think it was like, oh god, I'm gonna screw this up. I think his Wild Rider has like horns at the side of his head. They look cool. They look like Mad Max like baller vehicles.
Right.
And they're the entire aesthetic is so much cooler than the Aerialbots. So I mean
Because the Aerialbots, when they transform, are basically just robots with jets on their back.
yeah.
Even though the toys were like that, I remember the toys being like that because I had
They
one
are.
of them, and it was like, yeah, you like the way you transformed it. It was like the
Yeah, see if
they
I
were
had one
kind of
nearby.
This
Nope.
is this feels like the good time to bring out my controversial hot take.
Oh, here we
Ooh.
go.
Ooh, okay.
I hated the Aerialbots.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like for the Autobots to have combiners. I thought the Autobots
Oh.
outnumbered the Decepticons. A good advantage to give the Decepticons was they had the combiners. By the way, this is a thought I had at 10. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like if I ever have therapy, that's probably what I'll open with. You know, but yeah, I at 10, I didn't think there should be Autobot combiners, and I kind of hated the Aerialbots.
Okay,
See,
yeah.
Okay, I have a weird affection for them because I only ever had one, and I don't know which one it was, but I had one, and this was on like the kind of on the tail end of me buying toys that weren't muscle figures, and
Right.
but I played a lot of this was when I was really first getting into Dungeons and Dragons, and being a weird kid and I moved to a new town and I didn't know anybody, so I would just sit and play by myself for like hours on. That was like my Friday and Saturday night was me just sitting in my room and like making characters or whatever. But my main dude was called for years in this was called Silverbolt because of Transformers.
All right on.
And yeah, and that was like he was like my fighter. I got him up higher than to a higher level than any other character like I think I've ever played in my entire life. I've been playing through modules by myself, but yeah.
The actually no, I completely agree with you, Jehu. I thing is like nowadays they're like we me and some friends call these guys Neo G wonders, like these guys who go through a midlife crisis, like I like Transformers again. And they like I know that the Dinobots combined. No, they never did. Now they have like in subsequent later things because
Right.
the thing about the Dinobots, they were that good. They didn't have to combine.
Right.
They were just that good. You know, you're like, oh, we're just a bunch of idiots who are gonna be, gonna overpower you. So yeah, and I never liked the Aerialbots. Superion itself is like guy on stilt legs. I hated it. Now there's
Right.
things later on that are actually a little better. Like I'm a big fan of the Technobots. I like that whole thing. But
Right.
yeah, Aerialbots are terrible. I
Yeah,
hate it.
and you just kind of want your good guys to be underdogs.
Yeah.
And once and we'll get to this later, but there's a very easy solution to this episode that's kind of a bummer.
Oh. Autobots lose?
Well, I guess we'll get to it. But So we cut to see, this was really cool though, and I wanted more of this because we cut to a like a little insert scene of Megatron and Soundwave doing some planning, but I don't even know what they were talking about because there was the best synthwave song playing in the background for about 7.5 seconds, and I'm so excited about this. I was like, that's it. That's the best music I've heard in Transformers so far. And is it on that? Is it on that album?
Dude, there's so much on here. There's 2 albums.
Yeah. But is it on there?
Dude, okay. I'm just gonna tell you the tracks in here. Overcoming the Unstoppable, No More Worries. Unyielding, Heavy Metal, which metal is METTLE. By the way,
that's a clever
for
play on
home. The titles of these songs are great, and yes, you can stream them like if you Apple Music, whatever. They're great. They're like great background music. They have a lot of synthwave. Just cool stuff.
I'm afraid to do that because I'm afraid that I'll mess up my algorithm and then I'll get nothing but like cartoon soundtracks in my random playlists. I'm afraid to follow any links anymore because I'm afraid to screw up the algorithm.
Isn't that the worst? That's the
worst. I don't want to do anything online anymore.
I thought the same thing when I heard that part. I was like, "Ooh, do I need that soundtrack now?"
You might.
Yeah.
There's a really fun side story with that. So for a while, I've introduced my wife. She's from Portland, Oregon originally. I've introduced her to the magic of the box fan at night. Like there is no greater sound than the box fan going in your room. It's like this is like the best like brown noise kind of like soundtrack to listen to at night. But she out. So for a while she's like, I love Storm. So we're like, all right, cool. Well, let's start a Thunderstorm soundtrack. And to this day, I have Thunderstorms pop up on my playlist randomly. And dude, I'm like, there's some great music out there, and I'll skip over some things. Like I love the soundtracks to the assassination of Jesse James, Coward Robert Ford. Love this whole soundtrack.
Who did that?
But, yeah, and but the Thunderstorms, man, throw me every single time. I'm just like driving around listening to it and like. Anyways, yeah. So algorithm, I completely get it, man. I had to actually make a second account just to have the Thunderstorms because I can't do that anymore.
It is just funny because the algorithm seems to grasp on to the most fringe thing you listen to.
Totally.
Right. Like whatever you're into daily, it doesn't care at all about that. But like one day you try to check out one obscure thing and then it's like, do you want to hear about that forever?
Pure example. I haven't listened to Megadeth in years because I realized that Dave Mustaine's terrible. But
they're also terrible.
Yeah, well, I listened to one song recently. Now, like, Symphony of Destruction comes on all the time. I'm like, why? I'm not 15 anymore. I don't need to hear that song anymore.
The best thing that guy brought into the world was, hello, me. It's the real me.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't listen.
Yeah, he's a terrible person. Anyways.
No, mine was that I have a family account for Apple Music and I have like a home pod. And normally the home pod is my wife and my daughter just telling it to play certain songs, usually 80s songs. Sometimes they listen to country music or whatever. And somehow there's like a bulwark in my playlist where that doesn't interfere, and that's cool. But every now and then they'll just play music. And it'll kind of tag onto like 80s stuff like the Cars and Corey Hart and that kind of stuff. And that's fine. That's cool. Tears for Fears and that kind of stuff. But every now and then, like we were like eating dinner one day and like Torturing Nurse or Man is the Bastard or something came on, like this harsh noise, like this like complete abstract harsh noise. And it was quite I thought everyone was gonna have a panic attack, and I'm like, oh, all right, finally something good. I'm eating Alfredo. This is great. No,
it's actually kind of cool. Skinny Puppy once, and then it's Skinny Puppy for the rest of your life.
But like, I listen to a lot of Fleet Foxes. I love Fleet Foxes, and it barely comes on. But yeah, there's actually this funny kind of thing. We're going way off the episode, but this is still my
I don't even remember what we're talking about anymore.
I don't even know at this point. A stepdaughter though. She'll listen to certain things. She's like, oh, I really like this music now. So she started getting into this band. Like Will Wood is the name of is the artist. He does like 50s doo-wop music. I'm like, this is what you're listening to now? Yeah, I'm really into this. Like, what? It's not bad music. I'm just like, this is okay, man. I can listen to some 50s doo-wop. Sure, why not? But it's this guy doing it now. It's crazy how the stuff cycles so much.
100%.
Yeah.
So, speaking of weird stuff, though. So the Aerialbots are watching television,
This show. This is my favorite show.
What is this show? So,
Is it comedy? Is it tragedy? I don't know.
I don't know.
Why is it a period piece? I need to know more about this show.
Right? Okay. This is the best thing, man. This is like what Shockwave did in the that issue of Transformers. He's watching all the soap operas and football games. He's watching like Madden commentate on football. This is like some sitcom and some period piece. This is freaking amazing.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. The opening splash page of that issue is the Honeymooners.
Oh, that's right. It is.
Yeah.
He's like, these people are terrible and stupid. I'm going to go conquer them all.
Right.
So this show is like an older guy going, it's time for dinner. And he goes to sit down. And then the wife or like his daughter goes, she had to buy new furniture. No, Dad. And the dad sits down and the chair just disintegrates. And that's all we see.
Right. But really, it's a whole play. There's a beginning, middle,
it's
and an end.
Play.
You see the whole story.
Ed, I'm going to need you to narrate that entire episode now. It's time to sit down and have dinner.
I would watch that. That looks like some weirdo.
that is higher brow than WCW like soap opera in between the ring and in between the matches drama. That one scene.
If that was what was happening in wrestling, I would watch wrestling right now. Probably if it was about like if CM Punk would sit on his chair and would disintegrate, I'd probably watch that because I hate him. So
I mean that again is one of those things that I just feel like whoever put that in there was having a real good time.
They must have been. So I think it's Slingshot gets in an argument with the Ironhide, and Ironhide says that he's going to reprogram some humility with my fist. And as a dude that works in IT, I'm stealing that line, and I'm probably going to use it once a week from now on because there's many things at work that I want to reprogram with my fist.
Oh yeah, the beauty of that is Ironhide is voiced by Peter Cullen, who does Optimus Prime. You can almost hear a little Optimus Prime like, I'm going to reprogram you with my fist. And then he draws that. It's so good. I love it.
Well, my favorite part from this section is when, what's the one who's the heel? What's his name?
Slingshot.
He says to the main one, the one that's afraid of heights, what kind of jet are you? I'm like, bro, chill out. You've been a jet for like a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you even know what being a jet is about? Come on.
Because like, okay, so they weren't even like robots on Cybertron. They were just like drones,
shuttles.
basically. They were just shuttles. So it's like I don't know, man. But we cut back to Megatron and the synthwave is back. I was real into that. But so he figures out here that the power of the key is that you can turn the planet into, you can take the energy out of things and turns it into metal. So he turns dirt into metal. And I don't think there's a whole lot of energy in dirt.
Well,
you're the geologist here, Evan. You tell me how much energy is in dirt.
I'm not a geologist, but I did natural science. Now there's a lot of metal in dirt. You just had to pull out the iron, ferrous oxide out of there. Now I will tell you that, especially in the South, where all the red clay, Soundwave is like does an oopsie poopsie. He's like, oh, and like the key hits the ground and turns this like little patch in the middle.
Yeah,
and Megatron's like the power. And he starts shooting every tree he sees in sight. Bam,
everything.
Bam, bam.
So, okay, my thing with this is that, like, if Megatron is so concerned with like the Earth's natural resources and getting fuel out of the Earth, this is probably not the best plan.
Right.
Dude, this is like saying, like, I grew up in this area. I miss the trees in this area. And my wife tells me this all the time. Trees in Oregon are so much bigger than they are here. Okay, cool. Well, you don't have like giant sequoias and stuff here. Whatever. But that's like him saying, like, I miss metal. Here's more metal. That's all this is.
I will say, very few of the MacGuffins from Transformer cartoons has scared me. But a metal pine tree scares the hell out of me.
Oh, that sounds like brutal.
Like, I mean, just the force that a pine cone hits the ground with is scary. And also, a regular pine straw is pretty pokey.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine getting poked by a metal pine straw?
What if a cop car got hit with a metal acorn?
Right.
Oh, dude, that's Winchell's gone. Funny side story.
Give it double.
There's this class was going to take a UF here, and they're in Milton, and this guy, he is the professor of the class. He would teach you about all the different trees that grow in the area. It was his dendrology class. So he'd take a loblolly pine cone, And you ever grabbed a loblolly pine cone? Those are the ones that have these sharp needles on the pine cones. You pick up like, God, dude.
I
He
know
would
the
take
ones.
it, hold it. It would say like he throw it to a random class person, and they would inevitably catch it. Oh, and then be like, "Ow, the hell!" And it was he was just like, "You'll never forget that again." I'm like, dude, can you imagine like a pokey pine cone? You throw that at someone, it's like metal, and like stabs their hand.
That's
Kill
solid metal.
somebody.
Those things are
Yeah.
already heavy as it is. So
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible.
like,
Anyways,
okay, so we're 15 minutes into this episode at this point. There's 6 minutes left, and I'm reasonably sure that both of these, like again, I don't know a whole lot about Transformers. I'm reasonably certain that both of these like little sub factions form into a giant robot, which we've confirmed early in the episode, and they haven't done this yet.
Right.
And I'm real worried. And I'm real worried that it's going to be some Devastor nonsense where they form and then somebody punches them and they fall apart in like 14 seconds, because I don't like
Right.
that. I've said before, I want to see those guys get giant. I want to see them get huge and then like kick a lot of things around and like punch like giant guys. I want to see like War of the Gargantuas here, and I rarely get it with the combiners.
Right.
I rarely get it with Devastator. Like only one time have we had that. Otherwise, it's like that Veritech fighter just knocks them out and they all fall apart.
man,
And
I cannot wait to watch the movie. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're beating him up, and Megatron's like, "But wait, my Stunticons have a secret." We all knew it was coming because last time he said this is about the Constructicons.
Right.
Yeah,
where are they, by the way? Why couldn't they show up and help
they're
out?
like building stuff somewhere. I don't know, man. They're hanging out in their cave or something. They were like building something with a grapple and hoist somewhere.
So 18 minutes 45 seconds, we finally get the Stunticons combined into Minosaur. I swear to God, this guy's name was Bruticus. Is this not?
No,
is that
you're
not a thing?
No, that's
Jump
the
the gun.
Combaticons,
The Combatic. Oh, the Combatic. You know,
who,
okay,
by the
so-
way, are the best combiners.
100%.
So-
He's right.
okay,
They're
so
great.
I've talked more. I've talked about my friend Brian in the past, who my ex-friend Brian, who threw my Ace action figure from GI Joe onto my roof.
That's why he's an ex-friend. I get it.
Yeah, he called them, for some reason, for years he called them the Combunticons, and so in my brain they've always been the Combunticons. I don't know why he called them that.
I mean, to be
I'm
fair,
trying
that's
to
pretty
piece
fun to
of-
say.
It's pretty fun to say.
Phonetically, I'm trying to get that. Like, how does he cut the?
I don't know, man. It's I don't know, and this is not the same guy that called Devastator Devastor. It's a totally different guy.
Man, you guys are really jacked up people with your the English language in your.
Yeah, you have some
emphasis.
pronunciation problems with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to talk about. Well, I'm not going to talk about Japanese pronunciations and arguing with the names of battleships with people. But
Oh my God! Don't not even do get in that. That is a whole tangent, dude. Anyways, yeah. So we have Minosaur, and Optimus Prime's like, hey, gotcha, and like Aerialbots become Superion, and I really hate Superion. I hate the Aerialbots,
He didn't
But-
look that great. He wasn't that cool. But
Right.
and he instantly
have a
just knocked
face-off,
down under
though?
rocks.
well, like they have like this face off where they like, remember when you were in middle school and you see guys getting fights and you would just like go shoulder to shoulder and you'd go in a circle for like 5 minutes and you'd go,
Right.
come on. And you just kind of nudge the guy. That's what they did here. They did this for like
Yeah.
forever. I was
That's
expecting to see a headlock after this because every middle school fight ends with a side headlock and you're just punching the guy in the head. But then he just tosses Minosaur down a cliff and some rocks fall on him. And
Man, and the big bots are dumb.
Why are they always presented as dumb? Is
They
it just
get real
because
stupid.
kids understand big is dumb?
I don't know, because they're terrible. He is Superion. I've been like, okay, at least they sound like they can like form full sentences at the Aerobots. And even Cereal Bolt's like, Optimus, I'll do what I can to help them out, to bring him back. No, it's Superion is like, crush. And it sounds terrible. It sounds
Yeah.
like the Hulk and like, I don't know. I'd say Sasquatch, but he actually can form sentences too. But yeah, they're just like, they're terrible. Both of them. I mean, I expect Minosaur because he's a bunch of thugs, man. He's a bunch of Mad Max guys.
Yeah, right.
But
Oh yeah, that would have been fine. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, but even Omega Supreme he's dumb, or he talks like
he
he's.
just talks that way because
no, he's not dumb because, oh God, this is going to be so geeky. But there's that one episode where he just decides to talk in full sentences.
this one time,
we did that one where he's like, today only Optimus Prime.
I'll talk to
I will,
like
I will talk normal. And
before I was
like,
betrayed by the Constructicons.
Okay, this was what I was talking about, though. The solution to this episode is they just had another big guy show up.
Yeah.
That's kind of weak, I think.
This is a wrestling match. The surprise tag member comes and runs and goes over the top belt and goes down, gives them the people's elbow, and they both beat up together. And the ref is knocked out outside the match somewhere, so he doesn't see anything happen. And Minosaur's down. That's how this all went down. This is a wrestling match. This is drama.
Okay,
so, all comes
when
around.
You put it that way, I can get on board.
See, they should. I wish they would have gotten to this earlier and just had like more of this. I would have been more into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they fight for a minute, and then the Decepticons like decombine and they just race off.
Yeah, Megatron said, like he does always, "Hey, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah,
this isn't working out. Let's go."
I don't know why he doesn't.
As a leader, that's one of the things I respect about Megatron. He will notice when something's not working out and say, "Hey, let's call it. Let's not waste any more resources on this. Let's just go."
It's the second that it goes bad too. He doesn't. He won't like it's like one dude like gets shot with a laser and he's
we got to exert our resources, guys. Let's go.
But then he berates like Starscream for getting, no matter what Starscream does, he berates him. If he wins, no, you should have run away. Like if he gets blown up, no, you should have run away, dude.
Yeah,
you should have rolled out. You should have rolled out.
Every bad despot's got to have his I guess the guy kicks around.
Yeah.
Every 80s cartoon had like the bad villain leader. He had one guy he would kick around. You know that.
Did Cobra Commander have one though? I mean, I don't think he really pushed Destro around too much.
No.
Well, it was almost like reversed with him. It was almost presented like Destro was the capable one, and Cobra Commander was the idiot.
He was so much cooler the comics were so much better, man.
Speaking of that, though,
definitely with G.I. Joe comics.
I'll tell you, the Skybound Destro comic, real good stuff.
I've been reading it. It is very good.
Yeah, actually, the beauty of it is in the Destro comic, spoilers for anyone who hasn't read this at all, they bring in Astoria from the Girl Who Loved Powerglide. She's in the Destro comic.
She
is.
Yeah, she is.
She is. She's so much better in it, though.
Yeah.
Y'all had me for like.
I know you guys hated The Girl Who Loves Powerglide, but I have a fondness for that episode.
There's
the fun trash.
Yeah, it is the funness for that kind of tropey 80s cartoon. You could have plug and play that into any major franchise cartoon at the time,
right?
But
that's true with a lot of these though, really.
Yeah,
right.
But I always loved Powerglide because he was Ralph Cramden.
He was like, he definitely had a vaudeville thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
When I was a kid, I think I liked him because he reminded me of David Lee Roth.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Oh, so what was not awesome here though was that so the Decepticons run away and Optimus Prime gets the key back and he's gonna fix all of everything that's turned to metal. But correct me if I'm wrong here. Did they animate this wrong? Because it looked like he was turning more things into metal.
That's what it looked like to me.
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
So okay,
he's like, I don't know how this thing works, so someone can help me reprogram this remote because I don't understand this stuff.
I don't know, man. Everything's like, turned into metal. Dude.
Old guy reprogram my VCR to record, a Dateline for me. That's what it was.
This wasn't the only animation mistakes in this, because at one point Silverbolt was flying with the Decepticons, and then there's a point where I guess Blaster can do the best Ironhide imitation ever.
Yes,
Blaster says something, and then Ironhide said something, but it comes out of Blaster's mouth.
Yeah. I did notice that, but I was I couldn't pause it in time to type it out. I totally forgot about that. So yeah, and that was it. That was the end of this one. I liked this episode. I did not like it as much as the first part of this. Like it had cool stuff. I mean, you finally got, like a combiner versus combiner fight, which is cool. All of our complaints about combiners aside, seeing that is very cool. It's very Godzilla, and I was into that. I had fun with it. Adult Brain's gonna go 3 Psycho Sid power bombs. R.I.P. Psycho Sid.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Psycho Sid. I don't know who rules the words now, and I'm really concerned about that.
There's no way to know who's in charge, who's the ruler and the master of the world. We don't have one.
We don't. Yeah, I don't know.
It's anarchy.
Nerds.
It's a Kid Brain. I mean, Kid Brain probably would have liked this a whole lot because of all that stuff. I probably would have been a little down on all the on all of the Spider-Man wishy-washy. Am I a hero or am I not? I mean, I like that storyline, but it's like I've like, how many times Spider-Man gonna throw away the costume in the trash can in the alleyway though? I mean, it can only happen so many times. So Kid Brain's gonna go for classic middle school headlocks that get broken up by the guidance counselors out of 5.
Jehu?
Well, one thing I wanted to say, I know you guys had a really miserable time with the last like 10 or 12 episodes, but I loved listening to it. So adult Jehu is going to give this one 3 Mark Hamhocks. Where was that guy?
Who?
We had the Harrison, like, what was it, Chevy or what?
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
And the Carrie Fishhook. Where was Mark Hamhock?
Karen Fishhook. Oh, Mark Hamhock. That would have been great. That would have been great.
And Kid Jehu would have just loved this. I loved it anytime there was a lot of characters and I got to see new people. So I feel like he would have given it 5 Power Glides glowing heart.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, okay, also, real quick, as from Flint and Dilly, who was like one of the main story editors for Transformers at the time, one of your favorite people, Ed.
I don't have any ill will towards Flint Dilly.
No, we'll get into that later. The
Maybe I have some ill will towards Flint Dilly. I don't know.
his sister, maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a feud with Flint Dilly? Because that's
not really.
No, but have you heard the things that we talked about him and his family's history though?
No.
I know we've touched on it in the past. Basically, Flint Dilly's family created Buck Rogers. His grandpa created Buck Rogers, and so at some point, his sister Lorraine Newman became the head of TSR Incorporated, the company that made Dungeons and Dragons,
right,
and forced out the creators and the original founders of D&D, and it took the company over and sort of tried to make it into like a vehicle for them to push the Buck Rogers IP because they got the money from it. So it was weird because when I was a kid, like every couple of years, there's a new TSR, there's a new Buck Rogers thing coming out, and I'm like, who cares? And it was, for a long time, it was like, it wasn't like, because like I love, when I was a kid, I loved the Gil Gerard Buck Rogers. I thought that was the coolest show on the face of the earth. But like they kept pushing like this is the Pope Buck Rogers, and I'm like, what old is playing these games that wants that?
right.
Yeah.
Ray guns. I want like beady. I want that guy.
What was that? What was the lady's name on Buck Rogers? Aaron Gray, I think.
Aaron Gray. Wilma Deering, Aaron Gray.
Yeah, that was my first girlfriend.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
fair,
100%. I get that.
All right.
Yeah, but well, so anyway, so Flint Dilly, he had this. This is one of the stories we're like, where did Dave Wise come up with this? He really didn't come up with this. He was given a script like, all right, make this a 2-parter. So this is originally called Journey to the Center of Cybertron. The Autobots. Hold on a second. I'm old now. Let me get out my readers.
I feel you. I'm wearing bifocals as we speak.
Okay.
I lost my readers last night. I was real bummed out.
Oh, I love readers now. The Autobots and Decepticons have to fight their way to the center of their own planet through a maze of primitive monsters to try to find the original program, the machine that made all of them. And he has in parentheses, typing this has kind of make me like it. I might write this one. That's from Phil and Dilly. So
I might like that.
and so like David Wise is like, what's Victor Sigma? And it went all the way up the chain. Like he's the program, or it's the program that made all the personalities. So where it brought in Bryce Malek, one of the story editors for Transformers, and then slated, well, it didn't do a very good job, did it? So that alone made it so worthwhile. All the information that we found, of course.
Right.
I love this. I love it so much. It reminds me how much I hate the Aerialbots and love the Stunticons. So for that alone, man, I'll definitely give this a 4.5 force field anti-gravity cars out of 5. Love it. I want a force field anti-gravity car so bad. I want to bounce off 3 rocks on a tree and go through the Best Buy sign. I think that'd be cool. But yeah,
fair enough.
That's how I felt about it.
All right,
I'm sticking
well,
by
cool.
it.
All right, well, good. Fairly positive outcome for that one. Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Jay, good to have you, man. Like you're welcome anytime, man. If you want to hang out while the guys are breeding, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I know my episode is coming up too soon. The
Europe
Express.
Not
but
the
if you guys want me
Trans-Europe
for any
Express.
of the ones coming up soon, I think the one where the Autobots disguise of the Stunticons is coming up soon.
Next one, Masquerade.
Maybe I'll come back for that because I know at like 11 I loved that. I don't know if it's still good now, but I thot that was cool as hell when I was 11.
Oh, yeah.
We'll find out in 7 days then, I guess.
Okay, then.
Yes, we will. Well, everyone else will find out in 7 days or 7.5 days. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. Check out Reel Phonies as Jehu and in gang over there. That is one of our sister friends of the podcast. And guys, thanks for being here. Guys, girls, bots, whoever you are. And check out the Discord. The show links are in there. And make sure. Oh, dude. By the way, Ed, I am so sorry. I forgot to give away the game here with what you got in as an email. You got a spam email to Edhatestransformers.
Let me read this. Let me read this. This was really funny. Let me read this real quick. So if I can bring it up here. So every now and then we get people that want to that will solicit us to be guests on the show. We had a guy a while back that was like a writer that wanted to be on, and I'm still looking into that guy, but I got this one a couple of days ago, and I was dying laughing at this. So the subject was podcast guest inquiry, exclamation point.
I'm here. Let's do this.
Yep. Hi, Ed. I hope this email finds you in good health. Sure. I just discovered your podcast, More Than Meets These Guys, a Transformers podcast. And I am overwhelmed with the insightful discussions and beneficial details you offer. Huh. That's real prosaic. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoy it. I would like to introduce Bill Wyatt. As the visionary founder and CEO of Red Mountain Biochar. Bill's innovative work by converting biomass residues into valuable products like biochar, biocoal, and carbon black. Bill has made a significant role to environmental sustainability and industry transforming. So reasons why Bill would be a perfect fit for your podcast. Revolutionary leadership. Engaging topics. Bill can offer
there are 4 bullet points.
What your audience will gain, and there's a bunch of other stuff here. But the thing is, the email. I would like to introduce Bill Wyatt. Best regards, Bill Wyatt.
Man, I appreciate the struggle and trying to get your name out there. Appreciate it.
Dude, I think you guys should have him on.
I almost want to just vet the guy.
Don't tell him what he's getting into, and just bring him on to talk about an episode of Transformers. Also, when you were reading that, I was picturing Matt Berry in What We Do in the Shadows. When he has the toothpick and the jeans on, saying, "I'm just a regular human man."
Oh God, I love that. I got to read that. I got to read that in a voice now. That's so good.
All right. Well,
Bill has been featured on Sustainable Solutions Radio. I love that so much. Anyways, y'all.
Like I said, I'm gonna walk my dog. So
okay.
All right.
Good having you, Jehu. Ed, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great week, everyone. See you later.
Roll out.
Morethanmeetstheseguys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.